to do a little curiosity teardown. So I had a video on this thing, on how it works, and specifically when you smash the trigger. What does that sound like? Sounds a lot like a butane lighter clicker. And it's because it is. That's exactly what it is. And that Lightkeeper Pro is a igniter for butane lighter. Butane lighter has that clicker in there, and that thing has a couple of diodes in it, so that each time you jump it, all that high voltage from that igniter goes out, and it kind of gets double. I think there's a couple of diodes in there, and it multiplies the voltage a little bit. So you get a couple of, I don't know how many, hundreds of volts or thousands of volts that go and zaps that shunt. So something in this box should be similar. We should be having something in here that sends out high voltage. So this is that commercial incandescent light fixer that you plug your light set in, and you make sure that the whole set is out, even the working part. So if you got a working part, you pull out the first bulb, so you get 100% non-working. So all the energy that you when you smash this button goes to the section that is not on, and you zap it. So either you're going to get zapping or arcing of the sockets, you'll get zapping of the wires if they're broke or blah blah blah, or it fixes the shunts and then the light set comes back on. So that's how this thing works. So let's take this one apart and see what's inside. I think this screw is a little stripped. Alrighty, I think that's all that is holding this on. So that's all that's in there. Okay. That's interesting. There's not much to see in here, but what's in here is actually quite interesting. This is actually an ignition coil for a small engine. So, whoa. Look at some janky... There's some janky sloppiness here. You can tell that China probably made this thing. Look at that wire, just, I don't know if you could see it. Just a wire that's just like literally a couple of millimeters from the other side. We'll get rid of that. That's a little janky. Of course it's janky because it's China. We'll get rid of that. Get that out of there. So we got main power that comes in here. Goes to the fuse holder and a switch. So power comes in on the blue, comes out on the red, onto the pilot light, goes back through the fuse. Blah, blah, blah. We got that. And then we got the couple of wires that jump back and forth. So we got a wire for that. A wire for that. That's kind of weird. So one of these positions for the switch, apparently it looks like it's for this bulb. So we got main power coming into the bulb. The switch here comes back out, goes through the bulb, and out through the tester port. So you can test for power. So it lights up this incandescent night light bulb in here. So that's kind of weird. And then we got the other side of the switch here. That goes to the big red button. And then we got this thing. What's this thing? So we got some resistors. Looks like a couple of capacitors. And a MOSFET. Can't really tell. Might be a diode. They might be using that as a diode. So they're probably using that as a high voltage diode. That goes to this coil, or this capacitor. 5 microfarads. Then goes to the coil here, and then the coil goes back to the fuse holder and out through the neutral. Yep. So we got a couple of neutrals. So this is a neutral. And of course we got a neutral for the indicator light. And then we got the big coil here for the ignition. This charges this sucker up, comes back through and goes through the plug here. So that's pretty cool. So power comes in, comes out through the pilot lamp, comes back out of the pilot lamp, goes into the plug, and then gets jumped to the switch. So depending on which side you got the switch, so either it goes to the bulb for testing, so it goes through the bulb, back out of the bulb, and goes into here, which is the little tester. Or you flip the switch, and then it goes through this diode pack here. A couple of resistors, and looks like there's another capacitor on it. And then that comes out. Through this. And then through this thing. Through the coil. Of course, the coil has to have some kind of ground or neutral, so that goes back to the neutral line. And then all the high energy comes back around after this switch is smashed. and then all the high voltage goes back through the plug and goes out through your Christmas light strand. So that's pretty cool. Not much to it. It's the same thing as the Lightkeeper Pro. You got the power running through that Prezzo igniter there, and it's got a couple of diodes on the outside of it going out, and then every time you smash that trigger, same thing with this thing. So when you smash this, makes a connection to this, comes back out, and boom. So, lousy explainer, so maybe someday Big Clive will have something that's, and he'll draw you a schematic and how the electrons flow and all that other crap, but here I just want to know what the hell's inside this thing. So I never expected a actual ignition coil for a, it is a small engine ignition coil, so at least it's meant to be smashed this button for long durations of time. So that's pretty it. So I should label this thing. This switch ain't labeled. Left and right, we should be labeled as tester bulb, tester probe, and then smash the big red button, fix it. So not much else to see and else to talk about this thing. Of course, it's in a generic box, a generic power supply box or something like that, because it's got a opening here where you can stick your finger in there. Okay. So that's awesome. So this thing came in handy for when I had multiple lights that were out, and there was no way in hell that the Lightkeeper Pro was going to fix it. Let's see, should I put the lip on the outside or backside like it was? Does it really matter? I think I'm going to put the lip on the outside, on the front side. I think it looks better. That's how it was probably meant to be put together. So that's pretty cool. We took a peek inside and sort of figured out how it works, and it's still black magic and all that other good stuff, so that's all that matters. That's that stripped one. So that's it. It's all back together, ready for its next adventure in zapping Christmas lights to get them to work again. So I have no idea if these things are still made or still sold, but for the price that I paid for it, guaranteed it's about the cost of all the parts in there. So a box, pilot lamp, a fuse holder, 1, 2, 3 switches, an outlet, a little cover plate, a couple of resistors, and a couple of diodes, and a couple of capacitors, 2 capacitors in there, and some bits of wire, and a small engine ignition coil. And of course, blah blah blah. So I only spent like $70 for this thing. So that's the, and then this thing, and then the probe. So pretty much I paid for the parts to make this thing. So not bad, because these things are, you know, going to the wayside because, you know, nobody uses incandescent string lights anymore unless, you know, you get them from the dollar store or something like that, where they're, you know, 99 cents a box, and if you're lucky if you get a season out of them and stuff like that. So that's it for this video. So thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.